Super Rugby AU round 6, team of the week. Lots of Reds and lots of Brumbies. Pretty much like that training squad for the Wallabies because, the Force and the Waratahs got pretty soundly beaten. And Rob Penny even lost his job because of it. Too many hidings in a row. And, it's unfortunate for Rob Penny. It does seem to have been getting worse before it was getting better. I remember Brad Thorne took a while to get things right with the Reds. He had a big cull, and he was building things for quite some time before it actually got right. So, we'll see. See how things go with the Tars. Seems like a bit of a difficult job at the moment. Anyway, 15 guys. Let's go through them. I picked an actual loose head instead of just going too tight heads. Dane Zander from the Reds, not doing anything spectacular, just a solid scrummager. That's mainly what he's about. Tupou's going to get all the plaudits in that front row, but 7 metres from 2 runs, a clean break, a defender beaten. Didn't pass as a prop should, 6 from 7 tackles, didn't turn over the ball once, didn't concede any penalties. Solid shift from a solid prop. I'm not sure how old he is, but I feel like he's not that old. Definitely one who can develop. Another Reds man, Alex Murphy, Super Rugby Perform has seen him get a Wallabies training squad call-up, if you want to call it a call-up. 3 tries. What can you say about that? Nothing much, but the fact that it's amazing. But Australian hookers in Super Rugby AU seem to like scoring tries. The Brumbies were doing it before it was AU, just back when it was the old Super Rugby. 5 runs, 24 metres, 3 passes, a clean break, a defender beaten, 4 from 4 tackles, 9 line-out wins, which is as a thrower, obviously. He did concede 1 turnover, but man, what a performance from the bench. No complaints there. Can't go all Reds front row. We got to go Slipper from the Brumbies at number 3. 6 run for 10 metres. Decent little work effort from him. It's more runs than Murphy and more runs than Zander. 2 passes, 7 from some tackles. Also didn't concede any penalties. Also didn't concede any turnovers. Solid scrummage. The Brumbies look better for having him back because their propping stocks have been a wee bit low. Another Brumby and another Wallabies training squad call-up person is Caden Neville. No spring chicken, but he's still playing pretty well. Scores a try, which is not something you see that often from Caden Neville. 9 runs, 22 metres is actually surprisingly good. 5 passes, 11 from 12 tackles, 11 line-out wins. He was dominant in the air. Not sure how the locking stocks are looking for Australia at the moment. I do like Salakai Aloto. He is here as well. But yeah, Matt Phillip was looking good before he went overseas, but he'll be back. Hosea looking okay from the Rebels. For Salakaia-Loto, though, he also scored a try. 7 runs for 36 metres is kind of what you expect from him, to be fair, because he is that lock-loose forward. He has a clean break and a defender beaten. 8 passes, so his involvements are high. 4 from 5 tackles, so not the same defensive shift as Neville, but also has 10 line-out wins, so pretty good in the air. Does concede 2 penalties. The Reds were conceding a few penalties in that game, despite the pretty one-sided victory. Blindside, Rob Valtini. He was like steady without being fantastic. That's the thing about only watching 2 games in a competition and picking a team of the week. There's less competition. Some of the other guys were alright, but I've still gone with Valtini overall. He still gets a try assist. He had some good hands. 9 runs, 15 metres, 4 passes, beats a defender, has a clean break, has an offload, wins a line out. Yeah, overall pretty good form from him. He hasn't had an injury in ages, knock on wood. So he seems to be coming really good. 7, I have gone with a Waratah, if you can believe it or not, Carlo Tizzano. Now this guy, I haven't seen that much of him prior to this 2021 year, but he's a tackling machine. I wouldn't be surprised if I were to go do the analysis on the tackle stats for Super Rugby AU this year. He will be leading the count. I would not be surprised. 10 runs, 7 metres is not a huge return, but he's never a big ball carrier from what I've seen of him. Beats a defender, 2 passes. He does have a turnover conceded and a penalty conceded, but he makes 20 tackles. He misses 4, but his team missed a lot more than that. But 20 tackles, goodness gracious me. The guy is around like low 20s, early or high teens every week. He just is consistently there. And he did win a couple of key turnovers as well. So despite the losing effort, I've managed to sneak a Waratah in there. And I've managed to put Pete Samu in at number 8, despite getting nailed into touch when he was all too casual with that try attempt. 6 runs, 71 run meters is huge numbers. A clean break, 3 defenders beaten. An offload, 3 from 4 tackles. So not the biggest defensive shift. 2 turnovers conceded. 1 will be where he got put into touch, but Samu looked pretty good. Way too casual though, and Dave Rennie won't like that with his failure to score that try, taken out by an outside back. Horrendous. And Australia's got loads of number 8s. Naisarani's been called into the training squad. Wilson's a big unit for the Reds. Udu played at number 8, and Stunder's been in pretty decent form for the Force as well. So there's loads of number 8s. It's a competitive position. It's not one you can afford to be casual at any time, I would have thought. Scrum half. Tate McDermott had a proper game, reminiscent more of the Tate McDermott from last year. He has a try and a try assist, evolved into a bit of everything. 8 runs for 74 metres, has 3 clean breaks, 5 defenders beaten, an offload, 59 passes, 10 from 13 tackles. Huge shift. Brad Thorne will be very, very happy from what he's seen from him, as will Dave Rennie. Number 10, his Reds teammate, James O'Connor. Not his best goal-kicking performance, which is something we've associated with him this year, but he still tore it up, man. He has a try assist, a conversion of penalties, or 2 conversions and a penalty. 8 runs for 76 metres is maybe the most metres he's had all season. A clean break, 2 defenders beaten, 20 passes and an offload, 2 from 4 tackles is not a success rate that Brad or he will be happy with, but overall, if you're a Reds fan, can't complain too much about that result over your traditional rivals. Are you feeling sorry for them or not at this point? Daugunu. As a Blues fan, I can say my team was in the doldrums for a long time. So hopefully the Waratahs can turn it around quicker than we did. Daugunu, we lost to the Crusaders the other day and the Chiefs, so maybe we haven't turned it around. Daugunu, 13 runs, 137 metres, was showing some pretty fleet feet. 3 clean breaks, 11 defenders beaten. When you can get into double figures on defenders beaten, that's getting ridiculous. 6 passes and an offload, 6 from 7 tackles. Not perfect though. Does have 3 turnovers conceded, 2 penalties conceded. Takes 1 quick line out, but yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good from Filippo. I did manage to get a Force player on here with Henry Ta'afu. He scores a try, which was pretty hard to come by for the Force in that game. 7 runs for 15 metres, not a heck of a lot to write home about for a midfielder. 1 clean break, 1 defender beaten, 3 passes. But what I was impressed by 16 out of 17 tackles. Stopping the people come down your midfield channel is a pretty good effort, so bit of credit for him for that one. However, this guy had a bit of a field day. Lenny Ikitau. Yes, Wallabies call up for him as well for the training squad. 2 tries, 10 runs for 33 metres. It's still not phenomenal stuff when you look at like Daugunu's numbers, but for a midfielder it can be a wee bit trickier. 2 clean breaks, 5 defenders beaten. Again, apart from Daugunu's numbers, these look pretty good. Like 5 is usually good, so you compare them to 11. 9 passes, so he did have a lot of involvements. 3 offloads, 8 from 9 tackles. Does have a turnover conceded and a penalty conceded. But overall, you would have to say Ikitau, I thought, was pretty good and pretty deserving of his call-up because he's been in good form for a wee while now. Right wing, I've gone with Andy Muirhead, another man who's in Dave Rennie's sights. Didn't have to do that much, but he still finished with 2 tries. He gets 30 run meters from 8 runs. He has 6 passes, 3 defenders beaten and a clean break. I think Mac Hansen has better overall running numbers. He gets 4 from 4 tackles, which from an outside back is pretty good. And I think overall he'd be pretty happy with his night at the office. But as I said, they didn't really have to get too much out of a canter to kind of get those numbers. And lastly, kind of like Valtini. I wasn't that sold on Banks. Kind of him or Campbell. Didn't think Maddox was going to get done. A try assist, which is not one you can complain about, but they did get a lot of try assists in that game. 6 runs, 36 metres, beats a defender, 4 passes, 2 from 2 tackles. Has a turnover conceded, but yep, solid shift from him. And a night where solid was enough, and it got the job done. Maybe I'm being a bit hard on them. I mean, they were just a really good team. They didn't have to... Maybe it looks like it's easy for them because they are that good at the moment. But anyway, that's the 15 guys. Largely guys who were all in Dave Rennie's sides as well, but that's just because there's heaps of Reds and Brumbies in the Wallabies training squad, and the Reds and the Brumbies had big wins at the weekend, so it was almost inevitable to pick a squad mostly of those guys. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. Who else did you think performed particularly well this weekend? On a side note, how do you think the Waratahs are going to go in terms of the rest of their campaign without Rob Penny? Do you think it's going to get better, or do you think it'll be more of the same? And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.